Hello, my Bill for Thousand Nation. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully, everyone's having a great day. If not, I hope it gets better from here. We are back with another Watcher Wednesday. This one is titled, Are You Scared of the Hat Man? Nope. All right. I'm excited to get into today's story. If you guys are excited as I am, please go ahead, turn them lights down low, put on something comfy, cut up with something special. Let's get spooky.
This video contains content that some might find disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Ooh.
What's the most terrifying experience you've ever had? Were you literally shaken by fear? Did it feel like death was right on the other side of the door?
No.
In tonight's story, an
There was no door
inexplicable,
involved.
terrifying encounter has left our narrator an unforgettable image of the Hat Man. I'm
What
Ryan
the fuck's
Bergara,
the Hat
and
Man,
this is
bro?
Are You Scared? A show where I tell my friend Shane Madej the internet's scariest stories. So lock your doors, turn off the lights, and let's see if we can make it until the end of the night. The Hat Man
Oh, my nose. It's running.
is not a story.
Better
about
go
you.
catch it.
I have a lot of hats. I'd love more hats. If there's a hat company out there that would like to sponsor me, I could use more hats.
Why are
Me
you doing that
too.
with your mouth?
Talking?
Should we move on to the story?
I'd love to hear it.
I love hats.
So far, not very scary.
If there's
Her face
anyone
was
out there who
carved
can make
with
hats,
disdain.
and they
A
can
great break of a
really like
nose
design
set
some
above a thin,
shit that looks
lipless mouth.
badass,
Wiry gray hair pulled back into a tight
Would love
bun,
a hat.
revealing gaunt cheekbones like chiseled marble, and coal black eyes smoldering with anger. Who could have said that this was a helpless old lady in desperate need of a live-in caregiver?
Why are we being so cruel to this woman?
right?
Just open this story by talking mad shit about this old lady.
Her eyes are black like coal.
She passed her prime 30 years ago.
She smells like she's been dead
for 10 years already.
Her skin may have softened under the chin, but there was an enduring hardness to this woman that belied everything I had heard about her. The nerves of her jaw twitched as she sat on her porch in her rocking chair and met my eyes with the foulest glare. Maybe I shouldn't have taken this job. Don't worry, she's actually quite harmless despite how she looks. I chewed my
They're
lip as I
never.
looked at the girl standing next to me. She was why I was here, the last living relative of my latest charge. It was faint, but I could see the resemblance, especially in that nose. She knows she needs help, the girl continued. She just can't bring herself to admit it. You won't believe how long it took me to convince her to let someone come in and help around. Actually, I wanted her to leave this dead town and come live with me, but she wouldn't even entertain that suggestion.
Old people don't leave, bro. It don't matter if like everything in that city's just gone. Just gone forever. They will be like, yeah. It's mine. It's mine. I ain't leaving. I got a cellar full of goods. I lived during the Great Depression in the Dust Bowl. I got this in spades. Ooh, spades. Who wants to play spades?
I responded with a sympathetic nod. Who would want to leave the home that had all the memories of their deceased husband and son? Enough about that, though. Come, she said as she started walking towards the
Memories,
house, her heels clicking smartly on the cobblestone. I followed.
Like, I don't know if I'd be able to stay in a house if, like, my significant other just passed away and I'm old and, like, every little thing is a memory. That would drive me absolutely fucking batshit crazy. I would have to burn it down and go somewhere else. That's life. That's just life.
Letting my eyes wander over the rusted swing and the overgrown bushes that choked the yard. Aunt Sarah? I heard the girl ask. It's me, Olivia. I turned my neck and saw the old woman's face tighten with a frown. What do you want?
What do you want?
I'm a fan.
What do you want? You know I never liked your daddy. You little bitch.
Is it one of those situations? I love old people.
To be fair, that's how I answer the phone when anybody calls, or anybody in my family answers the phone that way.
Well, you're very mean to your brother.
He's mean to me too.
Yeah.
It's a form of affection in our
Love.
family.
Yeah. Just to paint the picture here, can you give me your tightest frown? Oh, yeah, if I saw that coming from a lady. Doesn't look very tight, though.
Let me turn around. Maybe that'll help. Say, hey, can I have something? Say some dipshit request.
Pass the Doritos. Where's the frown? There we go. That's good. I like that. It's getting looser. Tighten it. Tighten it.
It's good to see you too, Olivia said. This is Marie.
It's like
She's
the
going
Hulk
to be
turning
staying with
back
you from
into
now
Bruce
on,
Banner.
Just like what we talked about, remember? Her mouth dropped open. The hell she will. I don't need a goddamn nanny. Olivia put a hand on my shoulder before I could say anything.
I like this old bird.
No,
She
the old
feisty.
woman screamed as Olivia hurried.
No, you damn whippersnapper. I don't know who you think you are, but I've been babysitting and wiping ass for 50 years. I'll be damned if you think I'm going to need a babysitter to wipe my ass. I wipe my own ass. You could just...
I love it.
up the rickety porch steps. You gotta get her out of here. You hear me? Her loud protests dissolved into angry whispers as her niece knelt in front of her and tried to set things straight. Not wanting my presence to turn an already awkward situation more uncomfortable, I turned and strolled back towards the front gate. Thick clouds drifted overhead, pulling a blanket of shadows over the streets. I couldn't see anyone out there, not a soul. Normally, that wouldn't have bothered me, but there was something about that emptiness that bordered on desolation, something that made shivers surge down my spine.
Yeah, a couple interesting notes here so far. No hats, no men.
Yeah, a lack of hats and men so far in the story called The Hat Man, which is
So
surprising.
the mind reels, are they going to set Grandma up with a handsome elderly hat man?
I'm gonna be honest, I completely forgot we were reading a story called The Hat Man. I got really wrapped up in this cranky granny. My heart skipped
That's what
a
it should
beat
be
when I
called.
heard Olivia calling for me. Marie, come.
The indisputable adventures of Cranky Grandma. I'd read it. Hell, I think we're watching it.
Cursing myself for being so jumpy, I trotted back towards the house. Is everything okay? I asked when I was at a reasonable enough distance to do so. Yeah, Olivia replied as she smiled at her aunt. Everything is perfect, isn't it? The old woman snorted. I looked at Olivia, who nodded reassuringly. That's when I finally introduced myself to Sarah.
It feels so rude to be like, well, I don't want them around here. You know?
Yeah.
That's a very sweet gesture. They're probably paying out the ass to hire this person to show up and wipe your ass, you know, and I think that's mostly what they do. So
Yeah.
clean you up down there.
And, take the garden hose, clean it off.
I'll take it. Let
Hey,
the
I
water
love
get a
car
little
washes,
warm,
bro.
but yeah. Throw my wrinkly ass down on the
Hey, get me in there, spray me down, buff my booty, make it all shiny. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
tarp.
A little
It's a
turtle
tough
wax.
situation
Yeah,
to be
certainly.
in. Getting older,
Gets in
dealing
them
with people
cracks,
getting
makes
older,
it look
always
smoother.
tough. They could be handling this better, though.
All my grandparents are dead.
All right. It was late in the evening. The last vestiges of sunlight had dissolved into a sky of iron. I was in the kitchen scrubbing the dishes clean. Surly Sarah had proven to be a picky eater, exactly as I had expected. It had taken me almost half an hour to get her to tell me what she wished to eat.
I think when all else fails, you have some beans. Or some, you know what I've been doing a lot lately?
What?
Sardines.
Ugh,
Canned sardines. Really nice in a pinch.
like a cartoon cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can eat the bones. They're very fragile and chewy. They're really good. Hey, where's the fucking hat man?
Oh, yeah. And of course, despite trying my hardest, I just
Change that
couldn't get it
subject.
right. She picked at her food as she wrinkled her nose and pointed out how undercooked and salty the chicken was. Olivia's departure had turned her even more crotchety, as impossible as that would have seemed back then. It wasn't that bad, though. She wasn't in need of round-the-clock care, which left me with plenty of free time to work on my novel. I began humming as I wiped the marble countertop dry, thinking about how I was going to murder my protagonist's boyfriend.
Writers.
I know.
Always thinking about writing.
And murder.
That's when I caught movement outside the window.
Hat Man.
Maybe we're gonna see some Hat Man?
That's what I saw.
Finally.
A big hat.
Or
like one of those you
Batman.
get from Six Flags. This is a guy out the window. I won the basketball game at Six Flags.
It's one of those hats that you can
Relief washed
get the
over me
nacho
when I
and
bent
dip it in.
forward and spotted a woman walking down the street. I had been more than a little unnerved at how forlorn the neighborhood had seemed just hours ago, so seeing another living, breathing person out there was quite heartening. I dried my hands off and decided to go say hello to my new neighbor. The skies rumbled when I opened the door. A deep-throated growl that warned me a storm was imminent. The woman was now standing near Sarah's rusty mailbox. She had thrown her head back to gaze at the roiling gray above. Probably checking to see when the rain would start, I thought. I quickly reconsidered my assumption when I noticed that she wasn't moving. Seconds ticked by, yet she stood where she was,
Why?
still as a statue. Hesitantly, I moved towards her. She seemed to be about my age, give or take a few years, dressed in a yellow sundress with long brown hair hanging stiff in the air. I walked towards the swing, in a wide arc around her. My heartbeat began to quicken when I saw her eyes. Wide, vacant, unblinking. My head began to fuzz with confusion. What was I watching right now? Was she mentally ill?
Aliens?
Did she need my help? I looked around
She's
to
an
see if
alien.
there was anyone else out
She's
there.
fine.
Anyone
She's
who could
fine.
help me with whatever this was. To my horror, there were dozens of them. An old man watering his plants, a young boy with a basketball in hand, a couple with their arms linked together, all of them with their necks turned up. I let out a gasp, and the woman noticed. I felt shivers dance down my spine as she snapped her head in my direction in a reckless, violent motion, the bones in her neck cracking like dried twigs. Very unnerving to just see a bunch of
Yes,
people
it's
looking up
creepy.
into the sky. I don't want to see what they're looking at.
I'd check it
That's
out.
just
Of course you
creepy.
would. What if it was like an Eye of Sauron situation?
That's
Look into
just
it.
I'd want
creepy.
to check it out. I want to see what was going on up there. If everybody's doing it, I'm going to do it too.
Yeah. Her pupils contracted, turning into little chips of onyx as the muscles on her face scrunched up with the utmost
If all your friends jumped off a bridge, Shane, I'm way ahead of you. Oh, fuck. I love it.
loathing and malevolence. Then her mouth began to crank open. I don't think like sequentially like that. I think
Yeah,
it was
I know.
just
But the way they describe it is like,
eyes turning into
It's
little
like some
chips of onyx.
zombie
Yeah,
screaming
like an
shit,
anime
like
character.
Back for Blood.
A deep and low cry rumbled out of her throat, quickly thinning and rising and turning into an ear-splitting scream. She stopped, sucked in a hoarse breath, and began screaming again. I didn't even allow myself the
is Back
opportunity
for
to
Blood.
wince before I was hurtling back to the house. My heart jackhammered
Or Left 4
against my
Dead.
chest when I
Whichever
heard
one.
other screams join hers, endlessly rising and swelling into furious waves that crashed against my sanity. I flew through the front door and quickly slammed it shut behind me. The sight that I saw before I did is still burned into my memory. The woman was running after me in a manner that defied all reason. She took long, loping strides, stretching her legs out one after the other, as much as her body would allow, while her arms, dislocated from their sockets, twisted and writhed behind her back, even as she never stopped screaming.
No wonder she's screaming.
Yeah, she sounds like a running version of one of those things that are in front of the inflatables in front of a car wash.
if her arms are
Wacky
dislocated,
inflatable arm,
Yeah.
man.
she ain't putting up much of a
Wacky
fight.
Willie.
She's basically like a
Inflatable
human
man.
seal, so she's not going to really be
Right,
able
you
to
trip her, she's not getting back
She'll
up.
just flop at you.
And her arms are out of commission. You bite her fingers off, she ain't even going to be able to stop you.
That's true.
I'm like turning around, planting myself, and just chugging right at her. This part of the head, I think,
Yeah.
is very, that's why people headbutt with it,
Yeah.
because you gotta get
I
it
don't,
right
I don't
there.
think people headbutt with their head like that.
Yeah, they do.
Like a battling ram?
That's the whole point.
Wait. Yeah, it's the whole point, bro.
Looking for the spookiest stories on the internet can take you down the deepest corners of the web. My browsing history is something I definitely need to keep private. That's why even when I'm at home,
more
I
reasons
never
to
go
one.
online without using ExpressVPN. Of course, I use incognito mode and clear my browser history frequently.
not
But I've
chicks
learned
with
that
dicks,
any
it's
U.S.
dudes
internet
with
service
tits.
provider can see every single website a person has visited. Legally, they can track and sell your information to ad companies. And trust me, I don't need any more spooky ads on my socials. So
I don't know why Tattoo popped up in there when they're arguing about all the porn on the computer, but it did.
get ExpressVPN.
Clockwise, counterclockwise.
Because this app can reroute your internet connection through their secure servers
Oh,
and keep your
shit.
providers from seeing the sites you visit. Don't worry, it works on phones, computers, smart TVs, you name it. ExpressVPN does it. So don't wait. Click on our exclusive link, expressvpn.com/areyouscared for 3 extra months absolutely free on a 1-year package. Again, that's expressvpn.com/areyouscared. Now back to the video. My hands trembled as
Thank
I turned
God, only one
every
this
single
time.
lock on that door. No sooner had I done so than she slammed into the door, rattling it on its hinges. My breath caught in my chest as she slammed into it again and again and again, her screams getting more and more enraged with each attempt. But the door held firm. I backed up until my legs hit the living room couch. The screams and the slamming continued. The thought of calling the cops had just started to materialize in my mind when one of the windows was smashed into pieces.
Are these zombies?
I'm not quite sure. And once
Sounds like
again, a
zombies.
shocking lack of hats or men.
It sounds like Back for Blood or Left 4 Dead 1 or Left 4 Dead 2 shit. You know what I mean?
This man to show up.
My mouth dried up when I realized that I hadn't seen anything that could have caused that. No physical object had come into contact with it. The glass just shattered, spraying the carpet with tiny shards. And then another one exploded, and then another. One by one, the living room windows burst until there were none left. A gust of wind rushed in, parting the dull yellow curtains and revealing a hand wrapping itself around the now empty window frame. I did the only thing I could. I turned and bombed up the stairs. Tears gushed from my eyes as shrill whistles of air sawed through my lungs. I reached the landing on the first floor, and the window in the hallway to my right shattered. I turned left and ran, running past room
Where's this
after
old lady
room,
at, man?
each greeting me
Shouldn't
with
you
the
be helping
sound
her?
of breaking glass.
Ain't that your
I kept
job?
running until I was in front of the last room in the hallway, Sarah's room. The door was open. The screams were now coming from the bottom of the stairs. I rushed into the room and shut the door behind me. A hollow ache bloomed in my chest, first from the exhaustion and the stress and the fear, but then deepening from what I saw in that room. The lights were switched off. The room was cloaked in shadows of the late evening. Sarah was sitting on her bed, watching the television wide-eyed and open-mouthed. There was nothing on the television but static. My chest shook with silent sobs. What had I gotten myself into? What was happening? She has this old lady now who's just staring at static. It's a creepy thing to look at. Is the ring girl about to pop out of the TV? There's so many possibilities now that are on the table.
Here's what I'm thinking.
I was literally about to say, I'm shaking the shit out of this old lady like a salt
Right.
shaker. Just
I
like,
think it's maybe the only time you'd be justified slapping an old woman across the
well,
face.
I think you shake her first, give her a little shake, wake her up like an Etch-a-Sketch.
You shake her till those dentures just flop right out.
I was going to die, wasn't I? Someone
Oh, yeah.
outside slammed into the door, making me jump. I sniffled. The door was pounded again. Ear-shredding screams, dozens of them punctuated by the slamming of the door, ripped through the air while the buzz of static continued unabated. Knees trembling, I stumbled my way over to the hollow between the dresser and the bed and plopped myself down on the ground. The door shook with the
The
continuing
backbeat.
impact.
That's gotta
Any
stop.
second, and death would come waltzing in. Maybe not through the door, I thought, as I saw the sash window behind Sarah being pulled up. An arm entered. I hugged my knees to my chest and squeezed my eyes shut. Then the sound of a gigantic bell pealed through the house. My bones, my heart, and my eardrums rippled. The screams and the pounding died down.
Oh, sounds like someone's got a craving for fourth meal.
Oh,
Live Moss.
yeah, some Taco Bell. I don't think it was a Taco Bell bell.
Oh.
Yes, please. Even the static seemed to lessen in intensity.
Is there anything better than Taco Hell? Like, it don't destroy my stomach like most people's. I can eat it probably for like every meal. Bro, I don't know. Grew up on that shit. Most bodies run on Dunkin'. Mine runs on garbage.
The bell pealed again. My teeth chattered. What was that sound? It was short. A single note, but it had so much power. The invading arm decided to retreat. The door was no longer being assaulted.
That's Jesus.
The bell pealed again. Why? Why did those things attacking me just leave?
Is
Was
it some
something
rapture
even worse
shit?
coming? I bit my cheek, wiped the tears
No, that's a
off my
horn.
face, and hoisted myself up
don't
on my
know.
feet. With extreme caution, I inched over to the window and took a peek outside. Now, if he doesn't come now, what if there's never a Hat Man?
There's gotta be a Hat Man.
I saw the things that had just been trying to force their way into the room awkwardly stepping away from the house, almost as if this place was infected. Then, I saw the reason, coming out of the woods at the back of the property, all 10 feet of it. A man, no, a giant, thin as a twig, wearing a black coat and a top hat, holding a long walking stick in hand.
I'm imagining the Babadook.
Fancy ass Slender Man?
Yeah, the Babadook's lanky cousin. It's like if Babadook had a Shane
It's Slender Man's rich brother. Slender Duke.
to his Ryan.
Yeah.
This is the Shane.
Yes.
This might be you. He slammed his walking
Yes.
stick down into the ground, and the sound of a ringing bell erupted from the impact. My attacker shrank away from him. The man strode slowly but purposefully towards the house. Fear flooded back through my veins. No, don't come here. I paced the room, pulling at my hair, wondering what I should do. That bone-rattling sound rang again. It was much closer this time. Closer and far more threatening. Is Hatman friend, not foe?
You think Hat Man is friend?
I think Hatman might be friend. He's using his little bell stick to get
them
all the weirdos away.
What if Hat Man is the old lady's side piece? You know?
Oh, he's tapping that?
Yeah.
I decided to go back to my little hiding spot when I heard footsteps outside.
That's why she been so
bending
cranky.
the floorboards almost to the point of breaking. From beside the dresser, I watched the door unlock and swing open effortlessly. The Hat Man stepped in, bending to avoid brushing against the ceiling. I curled up into myself, shaking uncontrollably like an abused dog, but the man made no threatening moves. He just stood at the door. Seconds ticked by, then minutes. He didn't do anything, just stood there.
Big people in small places are scary. Or big people in regular places are scary when they have to crane.
I watch you do that at every haunted location we go to,
Yep.
too.
Yep. A lot of old places are not built for Shanes.
They are not built for Shanes.
No.
Also, there's just something is unnerving about seeing a figure stop in a doorway and just
Yeah.
stand very still. I don't know
Yes.
why that's scary. There's no reason for it to be scary. It's like, are you going to come in or not? But
Because there's no reason for them to be standing in the fucking doorway. Get the fuck at the door. Now, see, it's not so bad when you can see the actual person standing in the doorway. The creepy thing is whenever there's someone sitting there and you just see that like solid black silhouette and then light behind, and it's like, yeah, this is some Jason Voorhees type shit, and I'm going to fucking die. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see that in a movie and I'm always like, fuck.
Yeah, I don't like it.
No
Every so
one likes
often
it,
he would
bro.
bring his stick down on the floor
It's the
and make
worst.
that horrible sound. But that was the extent of it, nothing else. As time passed and my fear was brought under control a bit, I risked a peek at the man. But the way he was standing next to the television prevented enough light from reaching his face. What I did notice, however, was that Sarah had been crying. Soft sobs shook her chest as she sat staring at the Hat Man. None of it made any sense to me.
Is
But as
he
long
dead?
as I wasn't being torn apart, I was somewhat fine with letting the unnatural events unfold around me. Time flowed like molasses, thick and slow. Hours crawled by at a snail's pace.
Hours?
It's a long time.
That's a long time.
One time I hid in my roommate's closet for an hour waiting to scare him.
Yeah, you're next.
And it really did feel like days I was in there.
Really?
But it was worth it. I scared the shit out of him. It was very funny.
Okay.
Why is he doing that for so long? Is he trying to get a reaction out of her? Why is the
Maybe
lady
he's waiting for the
crying?
lady to die.
Is she happy to see him, or is she crying because, like,
Maybe she is happy.
I'm gonna die?
She doesn't seem that surprised by him.
This could just be foreplay, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Ringing the bell before he rings her bell.
Hey.
Ring a ding
Get
ding.
where you can, Hat Man.
And the three of us stayed where we were, still and crying and terrified in turn. Night rolled on. Moonlight washed in and out like the tide. And finally, it was dawn. The darkness in the room turned a shade of blue, and the Hat Man decided to leave. He banged his stick one last time on the floor, turned, and left the room. I held my breath as I heard his footsteps going down the stairs before fading away.
What is this guy doing?
It really blue-balled all of us right there. He just sat there.
Man,
played
I've
with
been
his
blue
stick
balled
for
in a
couple
lot of
hours and
stories
left.
here lately, bro.
Fear coiled in my stomach
My
again.
balls starting to
Would
hurt,
they be back
homie.
now that he was gone? Thankfully, they didn't come back. When sunlight crept through the window, I knew that I was safe. Gingerly, I got up on my feet and looked out the window again. There was no one out there, not a single soul. Tension shed my body like a snake removing its old skin. I turned to comfort Sarah, but realized I couldn't. She was slumped over on the bed, and somehow, even without checking her pulse, I knew that she was dead.
So, well, one, as I suspected, may have been the Grim Reaper. Two, the implication that this is what happens to everyone who dies?
That's crazy.
You know, they always say, like, well, they died peacefully. No, no one does, apparently.
No.
Right?
It's this
That
whole
sounds
fucking
horrific.
ordeal where you gotta have a bunch of ghouls invade your house,
Yeah, we have a
break
bunch
all
of-
your windows, cause extreme property damage, leave, summon their big, tall
Stick
Abraham
man.
Lincoln friend. He comes over, stands in your room for 7 hours.
Starts ringing a bell while you're trying to sleep and watch Wheel of Fortune.
And then I guess he dementors your ass and leaves at sunrise.
Kind of sounds rad, though. I mean, honestly, now I'm kind of looking forward to dying. If
I
this
mean,
is-
yeah, at that point it's like, well, I'm
Right.
gonna die.
I mean, if it's going to be like Call of Duty, you know, zombies, Black Ops 2 zombies, no better, bro. I'm telling you.
Yes. Instead of being stabbed in a parking garage, you know, I'd prefer to have a big man show up with his funny hat and
And a bell.
ring his bell for me.
a big giant bell.
Abraham Lincoln,
I frowned
Vampire
as I saw
Slayer.
that she had been clutching something in her
Gotcha.
hand. A paper? Wanting answers, I peeled it off her hands. It was a photograph. Old, crumpled, and yellowing around the edges. It was of a young woman and her child. It didn't take more than a second to see that it was Sarah in her youth with her son. Young Sarah didn't surprise me nearly as much as her son. When I saw him, my head swam. He was about 10 years old, gappy teeth, full head of brown hair, dressed like a magician, black coat, a top hat, and a wand that was far too big for him. So, are you scared? What just happened?
We'll find out.
Was
We
it her
won't. That's
son?
the end of the story.
What? Oh, I didn't know that.
That's why I'm flabbergasted. You heard of this guy? You heard about this?
Have I heard of a Hat Man?
Yeah.
No.
I think the only like Hat Man technically that's popular in literature or film is the Mad
Cricket
Hatter.
Man?
That's who I was gonna
Or the
say,
Mad
Johnny
Hatter.
Depp.
This is not that. I think this is something that maybe torments you. I've heard tell of this.
Maybe there's a Hat Man Origins sequel we can request for this one.
It was certainly an interesting story.
I mean, the tension in the atmosphere palpable. I don't know what's going on there. You know, people break in your home, big man shows up, all very, you know, none of us would like to experience that.
Okay, well, this story was submitted to us by Bikram Mann.
All right. It's pretty well. Okay, so the lady said that's all she had left, right? Was the old woman. So what happened to the old lady's son? Did he die at like an early age when he was still into all that shit? Is that why the tall slanky dude came out wearing the top hat and what we thought was a cane, it was actually the wand that was too big for the boy? So here's my question. What happened to the boy? And why did the boy come and get the mother? Why any of this? Why did everyone turn into some fucking weird ass zombie apocalypse shit? And then for this Hat Man who is sounding a lot like her young son, I mean, why else would she be holding the picture unless it was collated? You know what I mean? I feel blue balled on this story again. I did the past 3-4 stories I have gotten blue balls. My balls are hurting. We need a better story. But we getting there. We getting there. All right. I really enjoyed today's story. I really did. That was actually kind of cool. If y'all enjoyed today's story as much as I did, please go down there and leave a thumbs up. It really does help the channel grow more than what you'd ever know. While you're down there, going over and slap that subscribe button. Become part of the B5 Nation. We do some crazy stuff here. If you want to know when that crazy stuff happens, ding that bell and turn on all notifications. As always, be good to one another. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Man. No, fuck that. Nope. I ain't dealing with that shit. Zombie ass Hat Man.